As you can see in front of me here, we have a Glencairn glass, which means with this video, we're gonna be trying out some whiskey. If you don't know anything about Glencairn glasses, they're basically whiskey tasting glasses. They are contoured specifically to be able to sip and nose whiskey easier. And the whiskey we're gonna be trying today is Stranahan's Mountain Angel 10-year American Single Malt Whiskey. American Single Malt Whiskey has kind of been taking over the whiskey world. I think eventually it's going to be bigger than bourbon. It has actually got classified recently, and Stranahan's was my first venture into American Single Malt Whiskey some years back. Very similar to Scotch Single Malt Whiskey, just made here in America. With that classification that it reached, it has some requirements that it needs to be able to put American Single Malt Whiskey on your bottle. Those requirements are:
it must be 100% malted barley, it must be distilled entirely at one distillery, it must be mashed, distilled, and matured here in the USA, it must be matured in oak casks with a capacity no larger than 700 liters, and then distilled to no more than 160 proof and bottled at a minimum of 80 proof.
Stranahan's, they're out of Denver, Colorado. The bottle that I have here specifically is batch number 4, comes in at 90.2 proof. Stranahan's is known for rich and full and a little bit oily American single malt whiskeys. Let's give it a try. Getting vanilla, roasted peanut butter, almost like a banana bread pudding thing going on too. And then some wet grass, maybe a touch of cinnamon. Beautiful on the nose. Going for a sip. This is really delicious. Getting some honey style malt with like cinnamon and caramel in there. And then even like a little bit of like pickled ginger kind of vibe too. It's not as typically oily as the regular Stranahan bottles. Maybe that's because it's had 10 years up in the high altitude of Colorado, which does some really cool things to the angel share in their whiskeys. And that's what I love about American Single Malt and why I think it's going to take over bourbon, because it is a lot more unique and distinctive. A lot of bourbons nowadays pretty much mostly drink the same. There is some really good bourbons out there. A lot of the stuff that people seek after that are unicorns and things like that really aren't as good as their scarcity or rarity. I really like a lot of funkier, craftier whiskeys, more artisanal whiskeys. I do like some of the bigger boys too. My palate has been adjusting more to American Single Malt recently. My first actual venture into whiskey was Scotch, and then I got into ryes, and then I got into bourbons, which is kind of the reverse of what most people nowadays do. A lot of people start with bourbon because it's sweeter and easier to get into. If you've never tried Stranahan's before, I definitely think you should give it a shot. They have a whole core lineup of American Single Malt whiskeys. You don't have to go shooting straight for the 10-year right away, but if you do come across this bottle, it honestly doesn't break the bank that much, and it is very worth the cost. Cheers.